Hello everybody, welcome to our first official video walkthrough of a mini-challenge. This will be for Minichallenge 3, the Snipe Hunt. I'm Kelly Spoon, I'm a Linux scenario developer here at TrueAbility, and we're just going to kind of walk through the entire process from sign up to the end of it. So first thing we do, head to trueability.com. Basically, you'll see our Minichallenge 3 Snipe Hunt. I want to begin that. Play now, yes please. So now we are at the leaderboard. Basically shows you all the awesome people who have participated. Thanks everybody. We're going to want to click on play now, and basically that will provision a server for us. And let's do that. Go check it out. So now we've got a kind of an intro, or the instruction screen, basically just telling us kind of what's all about, what we've signed up for here. Basically just letting us know kind of what the rules are of the game, and that the important thing is needing an SSH connection, cannot pause it, and we have got only 20 minutes to get this done. So I think we're about ready to go, so let's go ahead and start an ability screen now. So now we've got an IP address. That's going to be a little bit easier for me to log in because my SSH key is already on these machines. But if it wasn't there, then I would basically just have to enter in the password prompt when asked. And that's actually a new feature we are looking into implementing at some point in the future for everyone else, is you can upload your own SSH key and get it on a server. So let's take a look at what the actual challenge is. Basically, instead of a normal break-fix setup, we're going to have to perform a series of tasks to unlock the instructions for the next task. Basically, this is going to be more of a system administrator oriented challenge than our previous ones, which were more of a scripting challenge. But our first instruction, first hint, is going to be running man fpoba. So let's get that done. fpoba. And basically what we got is a man page here with some interesting text. If you read through it, go down to the bugs section. That's basically where our next instruction, or our instruction, is located. So what we need to do is to go into var cache ld config ktrue, where we will find a kernel module that we need to get compiled and inserted, so that we can take a look at the proc hint me file. There's also a note in there that we might also want to take a quick peek at the source code, so that might be a good idea. So var cache ld config ktrue. Let's take a quick look at ktrue. And right up at the top is a comment. Basically lets us know that we found the kernel module. Here's a makefile and user share bop. Basically, you probably could fashion your own set of GCC commands to build this by hand, but it is just much easier if you use the makefile that a vendor provides. Alright, so now we bring it over here to makefile. We've got ktrue and makefile in there. Type in make, we should be good to go, except we're not. The problem is there's no libmodules 2.6, 358, 14.1, blah 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 /build directory, and that's usually provided by the on CentOS is provided by the kernel devel package. So if we take a look at kernel devel, yeah, not installed. So yum install -y kernel devel, I believe, will get us what we want. So now let yum do its thing, get it downloaded. The sharp-eyed amongst you will have noticed a problem that we're coming up to here, and that is we are downloading kernel devel version 2.6.32.431.11.2.el6. But if we run uname-r, we are not running that kernel. So one solution might be to try to install the version of the kernel development utilities for the kernel we're actually running, but this turned out to be a minor problem. Doesn't exist. That version has been removed from the repository. So basically, in order to get this sucker compiled, we need for the build scripts and build files provided by kernel devel to match up with the exact version of the kernel that we are running. Just the way it goes. We could compile it. We could alter the makefile to point towards the correct directory, but then we wouldn't be able to nsmod the kernel until we wouldn't be able to nsmod the ktrue kernel mod until we rebooted into the correct version of the kernel. So, what are we to do here? Well, basically the answer is we need to get to we need the right version of the kernel running. So basically we're going to head into boot grub, and then if you take a look in here, we got our grub conf, we got our menu list, what we used to edit, but that just points back to grub conf, so let's give that a quick edit. And what I'm going to do here is basically 2632.41.11. That's the one we want. This is the bad guy that is messing up our program. So basically what I'm going to do is just comment that sucker out. This way, this will leave it so that grub can only find one kernel when we reboot, and it's the right version, the version that we want. And this is a little bit risky, but hey, that's why they pay us the big bucks, right? So now we got, we're going to basically ping the server, and hopefully it will come back up swiftly. Yeah, so this turned out to be a little bit of a trap. It wasn't intentional that we would have this version mismatch at the time of launch, but we had a few people who came through with perfect scores after the problem was discovered, and upon further reflection thought, we're trying to the challenge is to get a kernel module compiled. This is something running into the real world, so might as well let it stand. Okay, so server is pinging, and we probably have SSH back up by now, so let's give it another shot. Yep. Okay, so now var cache ld config ktrue. Let's do uname-r to make sure we're running the right version, 431.11.2.el6. Okay, so now we just type in make, and voila, it magically does the right thing. So awesome. So now there's a bunch of other stuff in here. Always a good sign after running the make command, you have extra files. So now we do nsmod ktrue.ko. That should be loaded, so let's run an lsmod real quick and just make sure it's in there. And yep, it's our very top module. So now we have code running in the kernel. So now the proc hint me file should be available, and we're just going to cat that out to see what's in there. Okay, so our next task is basically hidden in the text record for wombat38rivercityco.net. So basically that's just making a simple hostname lookup. Normally we just would do host wombat38rivercityco.net, and that gives us all the good stuff. Oh no. That gives us all of the IP addresses and all that fun stuff. But now we're going to do -t text to get the type back. Oh yeah, the reason why we didn't get an IP address or an A record back on that is because there is no A record for this. We only had the text record set up for this. So basically, we have to specify the text type for the host lookup, and boom, there it is. The file etc ppp trunk is actually a program. Set it to execute, fire it up, and get to port 9842 for the next hint. Okay, so we're just going to chmod a plus x etc ppp trunk, and then we're going to fire it up. And then we're going to hit curl localhost 9842. You could actually use telnet, and I guess we'll take a look at that real quick as an alternative, but basically just need something that will establish socket and print back the information you get from that. So, your next hint is on the ext2 file system inside of the overly compressed file at user include OpenSL J. Uncompress this file, mount its contents on /pickle3, and get your next instructions from the file in /pickle3/blue. Okay. Before we do that, we're just going to try telnet localhost 9842, and you can see we pretty much get the same thing. You can, like I said, pretty much use whatever you want. Okay, so instead of actually working in user include OpenSSL directory, I'm going to go to temp and just make a temp directory called foo. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so now we are in /temp/foo. I'm going to copy user include OpenSSL J to here. And we're going to use the file command on J to find out exactly what type of file it is compressed as, because there's a bunch of options, as we will soon see. Okay, so the file J is zip archive, so that's easy enough to take care of with unzip J, except unzip's not installed. Oh boy, so let's get that installed with yum. And a lot of times we do try to provide the tools you need, but there are absolutely no rules about downloading anything you can use off the internet to help you out with our scenarios. So if you know of a special project that basically strips off all compression and gives you the uncompressed file on GitHub or something, feel free to install Git and go check it out. Okay, so now we got to unzip J, and that gives us a new file called j.tar.xz. XZ is a newer compression format. A lot of people haven't seen it, but it's actually supported in the tar command with the flag tar, capital J, X for extract, verbose, and then a file. And then we're going to point it at jtarxz, and that creates a J directory, which you will notice overwrote the J file. Not a big deal since we were done with it anyway. So if we go down into the J directory, now we have a bzipped gzip file. So let us unzip this ridiculous thing. Then we gunzip it. Now if we run the file command again on the real J file that we've ended up with, we find it is a Linux ext2 file system, which means we can mount it with the loopback device. So mount -o loop. Actually, before we do that, we probably need to create the mount point, which would be /pickle3. So make dir /pickle3. We do mount -o loop. This tells it to use the option loop for the mount command. We give it the file name instead of dev, SDA 1. like a real character device under the dev file system, we can actually point it towards an image that contains a file system, which is what this J file is. So mount -o loop J on pickle 3, and it is now mounted. Yeah, so now we can do cat/pickle3/blue was the file that our hint was in, and basically it says search for the pattern TAMC in the var log directory. So we're just going to do a quick grep TAMC in the var log directory. And you will see that we have an entry in varlog messages, just a syslog message that basically has TAMC in it. It says create the file temp snowblower and go back to port 9842. Okay, easy enough. Touch temp snowblower, and that just creates an empty file snowblower. You know, size 0, nothing in it. But we should be good to do curl localhost 9842, and hey, message changed this time. Alright, so it says that's the last task. The last task we have is to create an empty file at /root victory is mine, and then go hit end test. And there's a way cool ASCII art velociraptor too, as a reward for your labor. So we're just going to touch root victory is mine, and we should be done. So now I head over here to end assessment and click it. Yep. Alright, so that was Minichallenge 3 Snipe Hunt. We invite you to swing by blog.trueability.com and leave any feedback you might have for us there. And, you know, if you're in the market for a new gig, you might want to also check out our jobs board with a lot of awesome postings. And our ability screen can help you cut through the red tape in the application process and cut to the front of the line. At any rate, hope you found it fun and or informative, and stay safe out there. Later.